start in a minute and I will show you my desktop and slides. You will tell me if you can see it. So can you see my Blackboard now or my screen?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can see it.
You can see your screen. Okay, great.
Yep.
And let me check with a slide. Can you see PowerPoint slides?
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah. Audio is good, right? Okay, so let's go back and then we will start. Okay, so thank you everyone for showing up today. I see Dan is here. Dan, how are you doing? Good. Okay. So we will make it short, not too long, just about an hour. So what's my goal is today? First, we will actually show you we'll discuss and we'll see the syllabus and how the course is organized. And then I have few other instructions, especially for our exams. And then what we're gonna do, we will get an overview of next couple of weeks. I'll not go very detailed. I have few PowerPoint slides that will summarize what we're gonna learn in next couple of weeks. And then we have a short uh, Harvard Business School review article and we'll discuss that. So I would request one thing. You can just keep your microphone muted and then when you will talk you can unmute it because sometimes if you type or if you do it will, I mean, everyone can hear. So and you can just keep your microphone muted unless you talk. Okay, so let's start and I will also share my computer with you. So first, welcome everyone. I hope all of you are staying safe and you all are healthy. We all are passing a crucial time. So I'll just request you that keep patience, try to do your best because it's a hard time, not only for you, but also for professors, for everyone. But it's a test for us. It's a chance to purify yourself, to prove your strength, how positive you can be. So we will handle it and we'll cooperate each other, but our main goal is learning. So our focus will be that we won't compromise our learning because remember you paid for this course. So your goal is to learn what is intended for this course and my goal is to provide the best service and to provide you the best learning experience. So we will do it together. Now, let me show you the blackboard. I know you all are familiar with the blackboard. So this is the blackboard right now. You can see and you all are familiar with what I'm gonna do. I will post an announcement on every Monday morning. So you will see the announcements here on announcement page and you will also receive an email notification. So please make sure you check on Monday morning the announcement. Sometimes it might be a little bit long because I'll outline everything what you need to do for this week. So please keep your patience and try to read it, the announcement clearly. Then I have my syllabus here. What we're gonna do, we will spend at least 10-15 minutes to go over the syllabus and highlight some important points on it. And then I'll show you one of the important things, which is this part content. So what I did, I actually made this class asynchronous. Asynchronous means that the weekly reading materials will be available for the whole semester and you are supposed to learn and go over the materials week by week. You don't need to be online or watch the sessions every week, but I will hold these WebEx sessions at least every 3 or 4 weeks. That what we would to do if it would be a hybrid format, and especially before the test, I might also hold some review sessions. So it is asynchronous. In every week's folder, you will find all materials, and I have my lecture videos. So your goal is to check the announcements and check the weekly materials, and please be on a schedule. So for example, I can show you, let's pick week 3, and you will see that I have our goal is to complete chapter 13. So I have every material in chapter 13. You will see PowerPoint slides, and I recorded some class lectures. Sometimes I'm gonna use the videos, just the PowerPoint slides. Sometimes I may take you to the textbook. I have been using the electronic book a lot because some contents are really intense. I cannot put everything on slides. So you will see I have my voice over here. You can expand the screen and you can watch it. So everything is in your weekly folder. Then I actually solved some practice problems. So it's just as it is. What if we would be in real class, face-to-face class? So I would suggest you to take these videos and do the problems with me every week. Don't just wait for the midterm dates or the night before exam. So again, I used some software and I wrote it on uh, I use some apps to write it and annotate it. So I would suggest listen to the problems and solve the problem and write it with me as if you are doing the real class. So I know some students are visual learner. They feel better when they are in classroom. They see solving one problem, hands-on experience. Some students prefer to do all by themselves. So if you think that you don't have patience to watch videos, okay, that's fine. I have all the solutions up here. You can read it, and of course the slides, textbook. But I would suggest please try to utilize the resources, and I will always follow certain order. So please make sure you watch the videos and you do the weekly assignments in every week. And then I will have some very quick, maybe weekly submissions, and you will find everything what you need to do, what you need to submit, when. Everything is listed on the syllabus. And then I might have some other optional items, some videos or some links. This is just some extra learning for you. And if you see here the contents, so I highlighted the red colors. That means these are the test weeks so that you can mark ahead. Of course, the syllabus has everything in it. So now let me take you to the syllabus. So here the syllabus is everything. So I would suggest if you have a printer, please print the syllabus, or at least these last 3 pages, which actually outlines everything, the deadline, what you need to do. If you don't have a printer, that's fine, but make sure you already read the syllabus. I have my cell phone. You can call me anytime if you need it. You can text me, especially during the exam or while you are doing an assignment. And of course, I can schedule an WebEx anytime if you need. So let me give you a little hints about the course. So this is advanced topics in financial accounting, but the topics are not, a little bit heterogeneous. It's not very kind of continuation to one another. So I split the entire course into 3 parts. The first one third of the course will focus on standard settings and accounting for reorganization or liquidation. That means bankruptcy accounting. The second part will focus on accounting for not for profit organizations. And the last part, or the third part, will be on governmental accounting. I know all of you are working for your CPA, and you will find that this non-profit and governmental accounting is actually an important part. It might be about 10% or 15% of your FAR part. And governmental accounting is a little bit tricky. You will see at the end it follows modified accrual method. It's not the typical accounting that we did so far. So you will see at the end the the difficulty level will be a little bit higher, as well as the intensity of your learning. So here, first I would also tell you about the topics that we are learning a little bit, and how I will organize everything, especially the assignments and exams. So these are the items that we're gonna learn. I just discussed it, and basically the um, uh, first part of the course is mostly theoretical, little bit of maths, almost no journal entries, very little, and a majority of this learning will be helpful for your BEC part. Especially the next week's chapter is standard settings, and you will also learn about different type of filings that will be helpful for your BEC part, but most of the parts will be related to your FAR part. And then here you will see that you need to learn on this all these concepts either by watching the videos or reading the slides, reading the book. You need to practice some problems. Then you need to learn how to apply this in real world context. That's why I made some case study, very short, very quick, that you need to do almost every week. It's at best like one page write up, and you will see it's not at all difficult. And then here you will see when nonprofit will start. We will focus on nonprofit educational institutions like non-profit private universities and colleges, or government public universities and colleges, non-profit charity organization, healthcare organization. And you will see a little bit difficult or different than traditional accounting that they do. That will be the second part of your course. Again, you will have two case study and one exam on it. Then the third part will be pure governmental accounting, and here I'd say this is a little bit difficult, but we will handle it. And then you will have to take your third exam. So three separate part, three exams, nothing is cumulative. And I would suggest you one thing. This is the textbook. Those who you already took my advanced accounting course when you were here, especially the Sacred Heart undergrad students, you probably have this book. This is the same book we will be using. So we didn't complete some chapters when we did Advanced Accounting SE 401. So we will do those chapters that we didn't do during our undergrad courses. It's the same book, and I would suggest you please make sure you have the book with you. And I will post everything, the slides, I'll scan the assignment pages, solutions. Still, it's good to have the book with you. So I have this smart book, which is really convenient to use. You can move from page to pages. You can easily highlight anything if you needed. So if you could get access to the electronic book through McGraw-Hill, that's great. Or what you could do, you could also buy or rent the book. So you will see the electronic book will give you the options to highlight any part, but I know many of you may feel comfortable to use a hard copy. I know books are expensive, so if you search, I got some electronic copy ebook. Maybe you will get about 25 bucks. Even from Amazon, you can rent it. It's about $45. So that's the one thing I would suggest. Please make sure in 1 week you will have your textbook access. So, quick question. How many of you already have your textbook? You can talk or you can chat, you can write it down. You have it or not. Do you have your textbook with you, or you already got it? Yes or no?
Do not have it yet.
You haven't got it yet. So check if you already have it from your undergrad course. If you don't have it, please make sure you will have one. Okay? So now let's see here what we were talking here. The textbook, and then you just need to do one more thing. This is actually a case study. It is from Harvard Business School case study, a letter from prison based on a real story, real life story. You will read it, it's really interesting. This is another thing, you have to buy it. All other articles, resources, I'll post it, but this one, actually, because of the copyright issue, I cannot distribute it. Even other articles, I'll buy it and distribute it, but it's only $9. So please buy this case study, and it is due sometime in the middle of the semester, but there is one important purpose. This case study will be used for the AOL purpose. So what is AOL? AOL means assurance of learning. So for every program, we need to assess the quality of the program for the accreditation purposes. And for this MS in accounting, we have 4 goals, and those goals will be tested or assessed based on some materials. So for my course, I have to check 2 goals. One goal is that how you can apply your advanced level accounting context in a real world scenario. So this is why we will be using this case. I'll I'll provide you every guideline, what you need to do, how you need to solve the case, rubrics, everything. But this case, for my own course purpose, I will grade the case. But this case, all of your submissions will be sent to an external professor without your name. Without your name, without any student identification, but an external professor will assess your case solutions too, and that will kind of decide the quality of the program. So I would request you to do this case very seriously. Every other things I will provide you, all other articles. So now you see here how the course is organized. We will be using the weekly learning modules, and then I will post everything in weekly folders. Everything will be in weekly folders. Everything is actually ready if you want to check. But I would request you to be on schedule. And first, what we're going to do, I will be using some PowerPoint slides to discuss the concept of the course. Then we're going to practice some problems, mostly like conceptual and technical. Some are long calculation based, some journal entries. And then we will see some case analysis, which is kind of the application of the concepts, what you learn. So once you learn everything, then you have to make sure you prepare all the materials for your exam. 3 exams, 3 part, nothing is cumulative. And the exam, I will request you to install one software. I'll show you the instructions in a minute. The exams will be using a software. It is called Respondus. Have you heard about the software? Respond.
Is it like a browser lock?
It is like a browser lock. Exactly, Dan. Did you use it for anyone?
No,
For any other courses?
I know some health students that have used it.
Oh, yes. So, this software, it's called Respondus. It is a software. When you're going to take the test, it will lock your browser, and then you cannot get out of the browser. And your exam can be monitored and recorded. Actually, College of Nursing and Health Profession made it mandatory to use this software. Actually, it will protect some issues. I think you can guess. I received some complaints from the professors, which is really unacceptable, heartbreaking. That it's not only from one professor, from three or more than that, professors complained that you exchanged your Excel files, you exchanged your exams when you are taking the tests. All online tests are open book. So you can check your own notes, books, slides, everything all by yourself. But please don't exchange the exams. Don't exchange any file. Don't exchange any answers with one another. So again, everything is open book, but do it whatever you can do with your own materials. And that's why I'm gonna use this software. So what you need to do, you need to install the software, and I actually posted here a link. You need to click here. You see in week 1 folder, use this link on top. I also showed you how you can get it through Sacred Heart websites, but I would suggest download it directly. It's free from the vendor's website. It will take only 5 seconds, and it has both options if you have Windows or Mac. So here you see it will take not more than 5 seconds to install it. So once you install it, before taking the exam, you have to close all of your windows, all of your browsers, all of the files, PowerPoint size, everything. And then you have to log in through this software. And it's just like the same thing as if you are logging into your Blackboard. You have to write down your Sacred Heart ID and password. Then it will take you to the exam window. So here is the deal. It has two options, but I will not do the recording, video recording. It sounds a little bit scary. I don't want to stress you out. I want to make it easy, but make sure that you are using the lockdown browsers. It will not be video recorded. That means you can check your own materials, but you cannot exchange or share anything. And I would request the exam time will be flexible. You will not share anything about the exam. If you take it in the morning and another student is taking in the evening, you cannot share anything about the exam that, okay, this was the problem that was on the exam. These are basic responsibilities that the professors can expect from you, and I hope you will cooperate. Okay, so any other questions so far? Let's see if I have anything. Any other questions so far? So if you don't have any question, let me check. Everyone is awake, or are you sleeping? You are awake or sleeping? Are you listening, everyone? Okay, good.
We're awake.
Yes, Brandon. Okay, great. I see many of you already have the book. Taylor, Vinny, Lauren. Yeah. So if you check, I believe you have the textbook. If you don't have it, like 30 bucks, 40 bucks. Yeah, Mike got it. Did you get the responders things? Very good. So I hope everyone will install the software and you have a mock quiz. Mock quiz.
Should we Google Respondus and just download it to our computer, or are you gonna send us a link for it?
Yeah, I actually send a link, Dan. You can Google it, but
Okay.
that's a good question. I already posted you a link here. Dan, can you see it?
Yes, yeah, I see
It
that.
is
Yep.
actually, it is
I don't
actually,
see it on Blackboard though.
it is in week 1. Week 1
Oh, so it'll get released tomorrow?
It is already released. If you just go to week 1, can you see it from my screen? Is it Bianca? Can you see it if you go to week 1 and then you will see this link.
Yeah, I see it now. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. No problem. So, you know what? Let me do one thing. If I can share the link now, and you can just open a browser and then do it later. Let me check if I can share it here. And definitely anytime you can email me. So I shared it here in my chat box. So if you click on the chat box here, this little bubble chat box, and then you will see this link here. So just click on the link and anytime you can do it. It will take only 5 minutes, 5 seconds. And then what you're gonna do, once you have these responders, then you will have a quick quiz. It's called mock quiz on syllabus. So just take this quiz, couple of questions, nothing. It's not graded, just to see that the software is working. Many students in section A already took the quiz. So once you install it, go to week 1 folder and take this quiz. 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes, 2 minutes quiz on syllabus. Just want to make sure that you are familiar with it and you know how it works. So this is one important thing, the software. Another important thing is that I just mentioned you about the AOL thing. when we start a new program, we need to assess it. We need to check the quality of our teaching, the quality of the learning. That's why we formed a committee. It's called AOL, and that some external professors will assess that case. But again, for the course purpose, I will grade the core cases. Now, another AOL goal is to check your learning in overall four areas of the accounting, which is kind of business, audit, tax, financial accounting. That means at the end of the semester, you have to take a mock CPA exam. I know whenever you heard the term CPA, oh, I'm not prepared yet. I took that part, I didn't pass. Some of you, trust me, in your group, one student passed already three parts in your class. I cannot remember in section A or B. That's great. If you think you still need time, take your time, but don't forget about the CPA. That's one of the goal. You are doing accounting major. You are doing this degree, having 150 credits, and will be working for Big Four. That's what you need eventually. So, how this will work? I know you are not prepared for the CPA, but this is a part of the program, and this is actually added to my course, and you have to take a mock mini CPA exam that will be on all four parts. So you will have 1 hour mock CPA test, 15 minutes on each part, 10 multiple choice questions only, and that would be at the end of the semester. But I understand I don't teach tax, I don't teach audit, and I'm not supposed to test you that, and your grades should not be affected because of lack of your knowledge in other areas. But these test grade, this mock CPA will be carved. So I always love to see my course grade as a B or B plus on average. So if I see the class average is 6 or 6 out of 10 or 60% on this mock CPA test, I'll carve it, I'll make it around like 85% or 8.5 or so. So again, this mock CPA test is a part of your grade, and this is used by the decision of the department, and that will be used, the real scores will be used for external assessment purposes, but internally I will carve the grade, because every time when I do it and I receive several emails, I'm nervous, I don't want to take this test, can I do something else because I'm not prepared for the CPA yet. I totally understand, but we need to do it because of the assessment of the program. And again, I promise it will be carved. So if you get like 60%, I'll carve it, make it a B plus. So any questions so far? Let me check. Everyone is in. Any questions so far? Yes, no, at least nod your head or anything. Okay. Is my pace fine? Should I am I go like this way? Am I too fast or okay? Okay, James. Great. So let's move on. So now here I just told you two important things. One is the AOL assessment, and you have to do one case study and a mock CPA, that both are part of the program but will be graded by me internally and will be carved so that your overall course grade is not affected. But these will be used for external assessment purposes. Another important is the responder software that you need to install and take the mock quiz. Now, I'll not go over all these things because you actually are familiar with it, and I believe you all will read the syllabus. So here is the thing, I highlighted it. Just spend 10 seconds and read it, please. Okay, thank you. And I believe, I trust you everyone. Again, everything will be open book, open note, everything, but just don't exchange anything with your friends. So now here I will tell you something about these grading systems. So we will have three tests. Again, the first part of the test is standard setting, bankruptcy, reorganization. Second part is about non-profit. Third part is about government and accounting. So governmental accounting is a little bit intense. So I'm trying to give more weight on it, and it's also about 10% of your CPA test. So the total three tests will be 70%. Then I'll have some case study, weekly case study, very, very simple. Those who took my class, you remember you are during your undergrad, you did some synopsis, whatever you write, one paragraph, one page, you will get points. So these are 10 points, very easy to get, kind of will cushion you and balance your overall grade. And I'll have few extra article summary, case analysis, maybe 6 or 7, and I will take maybe top 4 or 5. That means in case you miss anything, that's not a big deal. Okay, so don't worry about this part, but make sure you try to do at least 4 or 5 so that in case I take the best part, you will get 10 out of 10. And these two, it's for the AOL assessment purposes, especially the mock CPA, I'm gonna grade. Now, one important thing, you all are familiar with this, and you know for every grad program, you should have on an average a GPA 3.0. So that means you should target a B, right, on an average. If you don't do well in a course, you ended up with a B minus, make sure you get another course at least B plus or A minus. That's the minimum GPA you have to maintain. I understand some courses are difficult, some courses are easy, but I can promise you my course will be relatively easier. It's easy to handle, and I'm very flexible and approachable. So try to take this advantage and make sure you really do well. I'm very available. I have all my videos. I have all materials ready for you to help your learning. So make sure you really do well. I know some of you have a GPA below 3.0, and I would suggest you don't worry too much. You try to cover it up. You just finished only 3 courses, probably 4, because you didn't get grade for every course. But you can do your as much you can do. You will still have another like 5 or 6 courses, so you will be fine at the end. Now here, I would suggest you to focus on these last 3 pages. And I believe you will take these outlines and timeline very seriously. Don't just wait for the last minute. I have exam every almost like 4 weeks. That doesn't mean that these 3 weeks you will do nothing. It means that you will be on your schedule. You know, online learning is difficult. And do you know what is the most difficult part? The most difficult part is to be on schedule. So you will think, okay, I'm not going to the class in person. It is hard. When you are in class, you are engaged cognitively, psychologically, physically. But when you are not in class, in a different environment, you have lots of distraction at home. It's really hard to be on schedule. So I would suggest please be on schedule every Monday morning. Check my announcement, check the weekly folder, try to do everything. These case studies are very simple. If you need extension, that's fine. If you miss anything, that's fine, because I will pick maybe top 4 or 5. But these tests are important. So this is kind of the first part of your course. First test is on April 25. Next test in again May 23rd, and then June 13th, and the last week will be mock CPA test. We have 2 back-to-back tests, but the last week will be very simple 1 hour mock CPA test. And here another thing I want to tell you, if you see the test, again test will be open on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The test duration is 2 hours. You can take the test anytime during this time period on those Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. anytime for 2 hours. In case you cannot make a Saturday, I have a reserved Sunday. So the next day I can schedule your test if you let me know in advance. Right, so if you cannot take the test, please let me know in advance. But I cannot give you too much extension, because it will be unfair to other students and it will pile up your following week's schedule. So again, tests are On Saturdays, flexible time, you will pick your own time, but if you cannot make it, I can move it on Sunday, the next day. Okay, so let me check everyone is in. And so far, any question? Any question so far? Good? Hi Beth, how are you? Elizabeth, I can see you. I hope everything is fine. You all are staying well. Okay, great. So now, yes, Beth, that's better. Let's see. So syllabus part is done. Any questions so far about the syllabus? Please, please. You can type your question here, please. Or just write it down. Okay, fine, anything. Try to be engaged. The syllabus, any question, test, responders. Okay, Lauren, thank you. Then, okay, good. Very good. Sean, no questions, but please read the syllabus. Tom, read the syllabus and especially mark the test dates, 3 tests. But again, if you cannot make it, let me know in advance. It's not that time will be over, then you will knock it. I missed it. I forgot today, professor, I had a test. But please let me know in advance if you cannot make it on those Saturdays. Okay, so now what we're gonna do? So let me give you a little bit of idea about here what we are going to learn for next couple of weeks. I'm not going in very details because you have all of these PowerPoint slides and recorded lectures. So if you go week 2, here you will find everything. You will find your slides, you will find your recorded lectures, you will find all assignment problems and solutions. But I'll just give you a little bit hints what you're gonna learn and what you need to be prepared for your test 1. So here for every part of the syllabus, I'm also attaching some CPA materials. I know some of you already took the far part. That's great. It will be easy for you to handle it. Some are still preparing yourself, some are still waiting. But these CPA materials will help you to prepare yourself really well. For example, here, governmental accounting or not for profit, I am using some CPA materials, and those are directly from the Baker's website. So what I did, I actually, if you have already um, went through or passed the CPA, that's great, but make sure you review it. If you don't, I actually scanned some pages from Baker's textbook, but I made my own videos. So that will be helpful for you to relate the CPA materials. And for these CPA materials, I have some practice quizzes. And you will see for many weeks I have practice quizzes. So these practice quizzes are not graded, but it will be just for your practice purposes, and you can take it for unlimited time. So these you will see the weekly practice quizzes are not graded or affected, will affect your final course grade, but I would suggest you once you complete the material, take the practice quiz and check where you are now. If you need, go back and review the materials, take the practice quiz again and again. So these are just for practice purposes, because I have seen students, they don't take practice quiz. And I see those who took practice quizzes, they do well on real test, final test. Because you think, okay, I don't have time, it's not graded, so I don't care about these practice quizzes. No, please take these practice quizzes. These will be really helpful for you. So now let's start. So here next week, and obviously we'll receive an announcement on Monday morning, you will learn about chapter 12, and chapter 12 is about the standard setting and financial reporting and different filings, and especially the role of the SEC. And you don't have any pure accounting here. You will not see any numbers, you will not see any journal entries, and these probably will help you for the BEC part. But you will learn what is the role of the Securities and Exchange Commission. You already know that the goal is to protect the interest of the investors. The goal is to make sure that the financial materials are free of bias and errors. There is no misstatements. You will learn few acts, and you will also learn the goals of the ACCs. Let me check. I see some notification, and if I see any question. Okay, okay, Conrad, Beth, all set. Very good. Kyle, good. Tom, okay. So you can chat, you can post some questions, and please pause me at any time. So please use this chat box anytime if you have any question. So here, what we are talking about. So for this first part, you will see the contents are little bit easy, relatively easy, not too much intensive, long, big problems, journal entries. But later part of the semester, the difficulty level will be a little bit high, especially governmental accounting part. You will see big problems, long, big journal entries. So the starting will be really smooth and easy, and relatively it will be a little bit difficulty level will be a little bit higher, but we all will work on it. So here in this chapter, you will see the requirement of the SEC and different type of regulations, SK and SX. SK is mostly about non-financial reporting purposes. SX is for financial reporting purposes. You will see the overall picture, how these gap standards are issued, who has the enforcement authority, and how those are in effect. Remember, Congress has the highest authority. And then Congress asked the SEC to prepare all these standards, to enforce all these standards, all these reporting regulations. Then SEC actually asks the FASB to set the standard. So FASB actually is the standard setters. They cannot enforce it. They cannot check who is following what. So the FASB will make the accounting standards, codes, regulations, but the main authority which is given by the Congress is the SEC. SEC can override the FASB's rules. SEC can check who is reporting what, who is following what, and can take the any type of initiatives if anything is violated. Now you will see something what the companies need to do when they do the first time reporting, then when they need to do the periodic filing. So you know the first time reporting means when a company is going from a private to a public, and it's a long process. First, they need to prepare a prospectus. Prospectus means a brochure book where they're gonna show all of their financial statements. Even that should be audited. All other non-financial statements. What is the nature of the business? What is the risk of the business? Who are the potential customers? Then they will deliver it. They will give it to the potential investors like you and me or any investor, institutional investors. This is called part one. This is actually the prospectors. Now part two. Part two is some other extra information required by the SEC. It is not public. So when they're gonna do this first time IPO process, then the SEC will ask to do it. So once they are registered, then every public company must need to do some periodic filings. I'm sure you are familiar with this. 10K, 10Q, proxy statements, 8K. Any of you heard about 8Ks? Any of you heard about 8K?
Yes.
What is this 8K? Any idea? Just share. So yeah, so 8K is actually some filings. It's not regular, it's not periodic. Usually if you have any specific event, such as one of your board of director is resigning, your CEO is retiring or resigning, or you fire some of your top executives, you are changing your auditor, you are going for an acquisition. So if you have these type of important events, then you need to do these 8Ks, and there are some strict regulations. If something major thing happen, you have to disclose it, and the timeline is maybe for some even from 5 days to 15 business days. So you will learn all about this. So I'm not going detail because you already have my recorded lecture, but I'm giving you some idea. This chapter is very conceptual, totally reading based. If you read the slides, you will get majority for your exam, almost 90%. Some might be conceptual, so you need to dig deeper reading by the textbook. Now, chapter 13. Chapter 13 is talking about bankruptcy accounting. We have some idea. We all know what is called bankrupt, right? So, bankrupt, what is the reason for bankruptcy? When the companies issue debt, and at certain point they have a huge amount of debt, maybe like 70%, 80% of their capital structure formed by debt, bond, loans, and at certain point they cannot pay those loans, they cannot pay the interest, they cannot meet all these financial obligations, then the company is about to bankrupt. And then here you probably have heard chapter 7, chapter 11, maybe last year we heard like Toys R Us, so or different type of um, uh, or Kmart or different type of bankruptcy examples. But how about the accounting part? So here in this chapter, first part will talk about different types of account bankruptcy: voluntary, involuntary. Voluntary means the companies they themselves are doing the petition, they are going to the court and they say, okay, we are bankrupt, we cannot pay anything, so we need to find some solution. Involuntary means the creditors gonna sue or file the petition that they cannot give us the money back that they borrowed. So there are several ways, and you will learn some legal terms. Chapter 7, which means liquidation, that means you have to sell everything, pay the debtors first or creditors first, then if anything residual, maybe you can give something to your shareholders, and the business is closed forever. This is called chapter 7, liquidation. Another is chapter 11, which is reorganization. So you will see most of the cases in real world they do reorganization. That means they try to reorganize it. Either they get some bailout or government support, or they issue some debts, or they can issue special type of shares, preferred stocks or common stocks that the sponsors or the management they will provide some fund and try to reorganize the business. So in this chapter you will see here that when you're gonna do it, then what will be the accounting procedures. You have some big problems. So when you see my lecture, I will take you to the textbook, electronic textbook, so that you can relate it, because I cannot cover everything on slides. So follow the lecture, read the book, then you will get some idea. And then I have some problems here. So you need to do some calculations, especially when it's the reorganization or liquidation, who will get what, how much. Liquidation is okay, reorganization is a little bit difficult, but I would suggest you please watch the video and try to do all problems with me virtually. All solutions are there, because you will see when you have to do this, for example liquidation problem, you will see you have three types of creditors. Some creditors are fully secured. What do you mean by that? Because they might have some collateral, some assets. Those are backing by the loan, right? So they might have a building or land, piece of land. So that amount of loan is backed by that. And the value of the collateral asset is higher than the amount of the loan. That means those types of loans or creditors are fully secured. Some you will find partially secured. That means you have a collateral, but the value of that collateral is less than the amount of the loan. That means they are partially secured. Some are unsecured. So you need to know that the problem will tell you, because when you're going to solve it, you have to say how much you get after selling all of your assets, physical assets. Then who will get first? Of course, you have to pay the fully secured, then partially secured. Then partially secured, what portion is not secured and what portion is totally unsecured. Then you have to distribute it in a pro rata basis. So these are the math parts. So I would suggest you that you will go over the slides and watch the videos and try to understand a little bit of calculations, not very long, big. And then you have some concepts here. Again, it's totally reading based. So when you have to pay your unsecured debt, who will get the priority, how much you can pay. If you have an employee who worked for like last 6 months, you didn't pay their salary, now you are going to be bankrupt, how much per employee can get. And if you already have some customers who send you money, now you are bankrupt, you stop production, you cannot sell or ship any goods, how much you have to give back to the customers. So you might have multiple choice questions. So make sure you read the slides well, or at least you know where you have to look at during the exam. Exams are open book, I don't mind. But if you think I will find everything when I'm taking the exam, that will not be a good idea. You have to be prepared ahead, and you have to check, okay, what is the limit to per customer to pay back when they are going through this liquidation process. You need to know, okay, I have to go back to that slide or that page and make sure the dollar value. So if you have this type of a small questions, then you, if you prepare yourself well ahead, then you can do it. So I'm not going very detailed because I already have all those recorded slides on my Blackboard weekly module, so you will get everything. But I at least you will give you, just gave you some idea what will be for next couple of weeks. And you will have another week for um, here on CPA materials for conceptual framework. I have my video, you can watch it and prepare for your exam. So let me see, any questions so far? Any questions with unexpected? I think it deals with unexpected. I cannot get it, Bianca. Yeah, you can share. Not yet, not yet. Thank you. Okay, we are running out of time, but I'll just do quick thing. We'll finish by 4. So that is, you are supposed to read an article. Let me check who read the article. Who read the article? I posted it. This is why. This is a Harvard Business School article, and it says you cannot copy it. But you know, when we use any material for any teaching purposes, then I can distribute it. Then, but for the case study, you have to buy it. So it's fine if I distribute anything. So I distributed there. That was me trying to answer 8K question. Oh, thank you. Yes, Bianca, I got it. Yeah. So now, yes, so Bianca wanted to tell me for 8K, if you have something like unexpected event happen, you are dealing with anything, then you have to issue the 8K and let everyone know that happened and there is a timeline. Thank you, I got it. So, no, not yet. I know Lauren said not yet. I'll give you some idea because for your test, you might have something from these articles. These are very important. So, now let me take you there. It's not a difficult one. No accounting, nothing technical, no numbers. It is one famous article from Harvard Business Review. And actually, you will see here, it is talking about some psychological aspects, some human aspects that actually can affect your profession, that actually can affect when you are working as an auditor or an accountant. So, if you go to week 1, then you will see this one, and whenever you get a chance, please read it. But I'll just give you a quick 5 minutes review. What is this article about? The first page is really important, and it kind of summarizes everything. They are all HBS professors. Why good accountants do bad audit. I know many of you are great. You may pass the CPA, you already passed the far part, audit part, 90% scores, all have A's. You have very technical expertise. But if okay, yeah, I got it. But here you will see that still you cannot be a good auditor because there are some psychological aspects, there are some issues, and one of the most important point that the article is discussing is some self-serving bias. So if you see here, these are also part of your learning. You know, you will be a great, you'll be a great public accountant, or whatever, wherever you work, it's not only about your technical knowledge. You need to think of something, because not every time those will be trained, or the regulations, rules can deal with all this. So this article is talking about some self-serving bias. What are those? So it is talking about some aspects that is very closely related to accounting and auditing, such as ambiguity. Remember, accounting is not black and white every time. If you see FASB's codification, it's many of them are very vague, very ambiguous, will not give you yes or no answer, right? So if you see this type of situation, ambiguous situation, then you have a tendency to reach to your own conclusion based on your own subjective judgment. Right. I can give you some examples, the ambiguity of accounting. For example, expense. When you need to record an expense, you need to be careful. When you need to um, record the revenue, you have to be careful. For example, there are certain issues. For example, you are expanding your parking lot. Right. Should you show it as an expense, parking lot maintenance expense? Or since you are expanding your parking lot, it is increasing the usability life of the that that asset. So should you capitalize that amount? This is one option. Sometimes you may not get clear answer even if you see all these codifications. You have to apply your judgment, and you may have the tendency to be biased. Revenue questions. Let's think of it some type of organization. For example, Kayak or Priceline, Expedia. Have you heard about this? Right. So I usually use Kayak if I need to book a flight or reserve a hotel, because it will give you some options. You can check whatnot. But you know what? So when Kayak is going to record their revenues, for example, on April 5th, Kayak sold X number of tickets and the total value is $1 million. Now the question is, should Kayak record all those as their revenue? Now there is a question. Kayak may say, okay, we bought those tickets even for a few seconds before giving it to you. Then we sold it to you. That means in one way we held those tickets, air tickets, then we sold it to you, so we could show it as a revenue. But on the other hand, they are not providing the air flight service to you and me, and they cannot claim this is their own service. Maybe they can claim only the portion of the role they are playing as an intermediary, and they can claim the revenue only for that part of their service. Right. So there are several areas and contexts, especially revenue recognition. You will see subcontracting, several areas. So now auditors and accountants have a tendency to be biased. Now, attachment. Attachment is an issue that you might be very closely attached with your client. That means you, the auditor, but you are attached. How that can happen? You might have a very long-term relationship, or you have a small, or even mid-sized firm. You have only a couple of clients. Your earning or revenue is totally dependent on certain clients. So then you will be really worried. I have to please my clients, otherwise they can fire me. And that will actually affect your audit quality. Although you are a good accountant, you have all technical knowledge, but because of this attachment to with your client, your auditing may not be independent and may not be the correct one and the best one. Approval. What do we mean by approval? Approval means you are biased to biased judgment. That means if you see your client loves to do aggressive accounting, and you also have some tendency, okay, it's fine to do it. It's okay, this type of accounting on this issue is fine. You don't need to think of to be conservative. That means your client is following aggressive accounting. You have your own bias. You are biased to the biased activities, and that will kind of escalate your problem. Right. Now this article is discussing about some human nature what are the natures, what are the psychological aspects that actually amplify these biases. One is familiarity. It's from the psychology that we have the nature that we are good with our familiar, those who are familiar to us, my friend. But for the first time, if you meet a stranger, you don't feel good. So if your client is very familiar, you have a deep relationship, definitely that could affect your audit quality. Discounting. Sometimes we actually don't pay too much attention on main issues, rather we actually pay attention on minor issues, or we focus only on short term consequence, not the long term consequence. So the other two items, it's talking about discounting and escalation is kind of overlapping each other. One is that we kind of focus more on the minor aspects rather than the big problem which is evolving, and we try to focus more on the immediate consequence rather than the long term consequence. Right. So if you face any situation, you are a partner or you are doing audit or you are an internal auditor even, so you have those tendencies. These are common human nature, and actually the regulations may not protect everything. Then the article is discussing about some remedies, and actually, later we found that we have several acts, for example Sarbanes-Oxley, and they try to separate the audit and the other consulting service, and then you have to rotate your auditor, and then you cannot hire any of your client to do your audit. So now it is giving you some solutions, and now you can see some are in effect. So I would suggest this is an interesting article, maybe your bedtime reading, but for your test, make sure you read the article. You have some idea, at least the first page, what it is talking about, and it will be helpful at certain point. So here, let me see. Okay. Okay, very good, Lauren. You read the article. Great, great job. I'm happy that Lauren sent a message only to me privately. Okay, not everyone. So I would suggest you, today is the first day. So if you didn't read it, just read it sometime, because these are another part of your learning. So this is all about. So any questions so far, especially installing the responder test, and I have this syllabus. So if you can see it,
Do
if
you
you
have the a
yes,
list of the articles we're gonna have to purchase from the Harvard Business
right,
website?
right then, not this one. This is already on the website.
Okay.
You just need to buy one article from Harvard Business Review. This is one AOL article, and that's actually I mentioned it on my syllabus. So let me take you here. Okay. So can you see it, everyone?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. So the only thing you have to, where is the syllabus here? You have to purchase, it's called a letter from prison. Other than that, you don't need to purchase anything again. If you go to the syllabus, it is here.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then, thank you. Good. Any more question, everyone? Brandon, Beth, I know those, I cannot see you, but I really miss you, seeing you in class. But at least I'm sure that we are connected right now, either through your cell phone or through your computer. At least you can see my voice. That's the great thing. And yes, please.
I can. I
Who?
can see you.
You can see you. Okay, very good, very good. No, I cannot see many of you. That's totally fine. But again, anytime you have my cell number, you can call me. You have my WebEx personal room. I am usually available Monday from 11 to 3, Monday and Thursday. But I have some undergrad class that I'm taking live, and I have some meetings that time may not be available. But if you need to schedule a meeting either via WebEx or phone, you can ask me anytime. If you need to reschedule the exam date, you can ask me anytime. My only one request, please be on schedule, and please be honest when you are taking the test. You can check everything all by
Yes.
yourself. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you all stay safe. And
Yes.
everyone, please take care of yourself.
Yes,
And
you too.
Okay,
you
thank
too.
you. Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.